if you're somebody who's struggled with ruminating, you find it difficult to focus, you're often finding yourself distracted, you find it difficult to work and sit down and do the things you need to do, you find the moment you try to do anything, your mind is off wandering in the past, thinking of terrible things you did or worrying about horrible things that might happen in the future. If that's something you struggle with, it's really important to look at whether or not that's actually something you're training your brain to do every day. Here's what I mean by that. So say, I'd wake up and immediately I would be on my cell phone. So I'd grab my cell phone and, I might go to the washroom or something. So I'd be like looking through emails, reading emails as I'm on the toilet. And then, I'm making breakfast. Then immediately I'm sitting down at my computer, reading emails, listening to the news, watching The Daily Show. I would do all three of those at the exact same time while eating my breakfast, and then I'm brushing my teeth while putting my pants on, and then going to work, and on the way to work I'm reading stuff on my phone, but I'm also in my mind I'm trying to figure out this conversation I want to have with my boss later about something that I'm anxious about. My boss, she criticized me for something that I didn't think I should have been criticized for, so I'd be ruminating about that, totally oblivious to the actual trip to work or any of the people I'm seeing on the trip. So there was this presentation, this report that I was supposed to send to a client. I was supposed to do it yesterday and send it today, but I was on Facebook, so I put it off, I didn't do it. So I'm in a meeting first thing in the morning, but really I'm thinking about that presentation that I've got to get done. I'm in the meeting pretending to listen, nodding, taking notes, but actually all the notes that I'm writing down are things that I'm thinking about that I have to do on that presentation later. Then finally, that meeting's done. Now's my chance to get down and get this presentation done before I end up stuck at work all day. But then of course I sit down at my desk and the first thing that pops into my mind is, I should check my email. I did send some kind of important emails earlier and I want to make sure nobody had a problem with those. And then also I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe I should just check Facebook, because yesterday I didn't do this presentation because I spent all day on Facebook. I want to cut that out, but if I just try to cut cold turkey, that might be stressful, so maybe I should look at Facebook, get it out of the way, and then I can focus. But also there's that conversation I want to have with my boss, and I'm thinking a lot about that, so maybe I should go and have that conversation, then it's out of the way too, and then I'll be able to focus, I'll be able to pay attention to doing this presentation. Well, did I actually lock the door at the apartment because there were some really weird looking people outside, so maybe they're gonna rob it? And then I might be thinking about something that happened when I was in elementary school for who knows what reason, but my mind has decided, let's go think about this horrible thing that happened to you in elementary school. Or it's worrying about the future because obviously work's not going well, it's really stressful, I'm not paying attention, I'm actually thinking about all sorts of other books I want to go and write, so I'm going to get fired, I'm going to be broke, everyone at work's going to hate me, all the clients are going to hate me, etc., etc. So all this is running through my head. My mind is anywhere but where I want it to be, anywhere but being present. But here's the thing. When you look back at that entire morning, that's what I practiced all morning. I chose to not be present. I chose to always be doing one thing while thinking about another thing. And so it's not at all surprising that after hours of practicing that, when I finally decided, I want my mind to be in the same place that I am, I want us all to focus on doing this presentation, of course it wasn't. It's so difficult to focus and concentrate when we choose to practice not focusing. And if we're always practicing not being mindful, of course we're going to be better at not being mindful and not being present. Like I always say, your brain is kind of like a puppy. So if you have a puppy and you train it to jump up on you, you train it always to jump up on you, but every day for 1 hour, you don't want it to jump up on you. You want it to sit there. Well, obviously that puppy is not going to figure that out. It's going to want to keep jumping up on you. And that's what happens when it comes to being mindful and getting our mind to do the things we want it to do and to be present and to not run off worrying about all sorts of things in the past. Often a question comes up about how to maintain a mindful state. And I think the more interesting question is to flip that and ask, how do you maintain a distracted state? If you don't like being good at being unmindful, stop practicing the things that lead to that and lead to being an Olympic athlete at ruminating and thinking about all sorts of other things except what's present. Because it's not enough to just be like, I struggle with this, so I'm going to practice being mindful for an hour a day. That hour is not useful if you spend the other 23 hours of the day training your brain to be unmindful.